bit is like 5 years old at this point. I don't know.
I haven't known you that long, but sure.
It's part of the bit. Anyway, the comedy signing wins of Will Saxe, ladies and gentlemen.
It's never been a problem on this stage before. That's a shout out to last year. I know you're confused. I'm the one without suspenders. I am always happy to share a stage with my better half, Bobby Collins. I actually was a little bit of a late bloomer as a theater kid. Not in the performance sense. I got started in probably second grade in a role I will never be able to reprise. And I know you're thinking, yeah, Will, you're 6'3" and in your 30s. You can't play the same roles you played at 8. I've seen enough community productions of Annie to know that anyone can play Pepper. No, I can't reprise that role because my big breakout hit was playing Frederick Douglass in my school's second grade Black History Month play, which is really just another way of saying, yes, I am from New Hampshire. Now, I was a late bloomer to a little bit of the musical theater standards, and part of that is because theater kids gatekeep like no other. They're like if comic book nerds' favorite superheroes were Patty LuPone instead of Wolverine. And if you tell me that I'm not a real theater kid because I haven't watched Rent, I'm just going to not watch Rent even harder. No, what finally won me over was actually my ex. It was her favorite show, but I will be honest, it took a lot of convincing. Didn't always buy into her recommendations, not the best judge of things. Didn't eat cheese. Her favorite band was Imagine Dragons, and she dated me. Why would I listen to anyone who would do that? What won me over, we were actually in our kitchen, and she was telling me a story of how a few years prior, she was doing a move from Take Me Out, one of the songs in Rent, and ripped her pants. And then to demonstrate what happened, she did the move again in our kitchen and ripped another pair of pants. And I thought, my gosh, if Rent is half as funny as that, I'm in for a good time. Rent isn't even a quarter as funny as that. I'll be honest, I knew a little bit of what I was going into. I knew how many minutes there were in a year and the best way to measure them. And I also knew that maybe it didn't work out for everybody in that musical. Part of that is because two of my friends, the biggest fight they ever got into in high school is because one, spoiled for the other, spoilers if you haven't seen Rent, that Mimi dies. Yeah, big shock. And of course, I can understand why that would be annoying, but at the same time, it was 2010. The movie had been out for 5 years, the musical had been out for 14 years, and the opera it was based on had been out for 115 years. Plenty of time. I haven't really kept up with that friend. I hope wherever they are now, they've gotten around to watching Rent and that they're happy, and... No, wait, there he is. Hey, Eric. No, so, my ex and I broke up. Not because of Rent, but not because of Rent. And I did the mature thing after I wrote a play. And you're thinking, yes, men will literally write, produce, and direct a full theater production before going to therapy. But no, I was very, very cognizant about changing names, changing events. I made the two of us zombies who didn't know that their relationship was as dead as they are, because I'm all about subtlety, baby. And I was extra careful about that because in college, I was in a show where that care was not taken. It was written by one of my professors, and it was called Flakes We Have Known, which is a god-awful title of a show, and an okay slogan for Head & Shoulders. And it was true stories about toxic relationships that my professor had been in, or that friends had told her about. And when I was cast in this scene. It was between two people. It ended up being my friend Dave, and it is a gay couple where one is gaslighting the other because they are afraid of intimacy. And at our first read-through, I thought, did a fairly good job of it. And we were playing opposite each other, and I was the one who was being gaslit. And then our director stopped us and went, no, switch parts. Making me the gaslighter. I don't know what that says about me, but it's nothing good. Anyway, there is a line in that show that's really stayed with me, but not for the reasons I think the author would have liked. It was, you don't love yourself enough. You love me too much. It's okay to laugh at it. So I went to Champlain College in Burlington, Vermont, which started as a business school, but these days is best known for its video game major. Okay. I like Pac-Man as much as the next guy, come on. Which attracts exactly the kind of students you would expect. I was around more fedoras than a cast of $1,000 every single day. And a major like that, you're going to need equally unique professors, and the head of the video game major was a guy named Professor Fergus, who always wore a top hat. And I assume that was to show dominance over the fedoras. One more higher, one more archaic. So Professor Fergus is sitting in the front row of our opening night, and I say this line, you don't love yourself enough. You love me too much. And he thinks this is hilarious. And it would be fine if he just laughed like a normal person, but suddenly out of the darkness I just hear, I couldn't live with the laugh. It's the deadpan, emotionless expression of Of course, because people are human, they start laughing at him, laughing at us. And the thing to do would be just ride the wave, but instead, I say the line again, met with a new chorus of So we just stand there for 5 minutes with echoing in the background, all emotional tension gone. We eventually got back on track, but it was like performing in a minefield. Every line we said so cautiously for fear that it would click. He came up to me after and said, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. To which I responded, wasn't supposed to be. I was already fuming when a guy, an acquaintance of mine, came up to me. His name was Ricky, and he was one of those parkour guys who thought that being shoeless all the time was a personality. And he came up to me and he said, wow, that was awkward. I went, yeah, I know. He went, no, the other scene you were in. I was like, the other scene? The other scene I was in was set in a delivery room. A baby was about to be born, and I was playing the husband who was mad that people weren't paying enough attention to him. I think I walked into that callback and the director went, yeah, he's a monster, get him in the show. But so, we've gone through that scene, and I thought it was fine. So I was like, oh, okay, that's your opinion, I guess. And he's like, no, that was really awkward. I went, yeah, I guess it was a true story. How's it not going to be awkward? It's like, no. It was really awkward because I was the baby being born in that scene. I can't imagine. That's one of those things you put into a show when you are so convinced that the person it's about is never going to see the show. Or alternatively, you know that your uncle poisoned the king to claim the throne of Denmark. And on a show in a creative way. That's for you Shakespeare buffs. I don't know why he told me that. I don't know why he waited until, opening night to tell me that, so I could enjoy that for the other 12 performances. Part of me thinks he was looking for like a, hey, good job, son. Or like to share in an awkward laugh in an awkward moment. I think anything would have been better than what I actually did, which was go, gross. That's my time, thank you very much.